in spite of these last 5 games for Holmes, it seems like people still keep talking about Mo Bamba or Nerlens Noel. I don't know. I mean, do you think, like, assuming that Holmes, let's say Holmes just kind of like plateaus and plays this level of, for the rest of the season, do you see any need to upgrade? Do you think that there's any, I mean, do you find that any of those would be upgrades? Do you see any need to make a move? I mean, he's only making about $2 million, maybe a little less than $2 million more than Nerlens Noel. So,
but
I don't know.
what's Noel's contract? Isn't he a free
He's
agent
got
after this year?
Yeah, he's got a team option that nobody would pick up.
Yeah, and so that's where trading Holmes might be. Holmes has one more year or 2 more years on his contract after this year? The 1 or 2?
It's 2. Let me double check.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can't. I don't remember exactly either. But again, Holmes is making, what did you say, $11 million a year as a backup center with a year or 2 left on his contract. Yeah,
he's got another year and then a player option.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting, that player option. But I don't know. Maybe you can get a cheaper backup center. Maybe Kate is ready next year.
True.
Because I don't know, $11 million for a backup center might be a little much.
And to help the cause too, it looks like it goes up to $12 million next year.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So that's a reason for trading Holmes, maybe for a half year rental and a guy like Nerlens, just so he's off the books next year, and maybe you can sign a center for cheaper, a backup center for cheaper, or maybe Kate is ready or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great point.
So I'm okay with Holmes, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe he wants to be starting, and you have to think of that too. It's not all about him, but that contract, it's a starting center worthy contract on a decent team, I guess. So I'm okay trading him, but if he's playing well, then sure, I'm happy to have him here too. I'm kind of open both ways. Like, I don't know. Is he really going to... I mean, we have Sabonis, that backup center role is very important. But it's like, all right, if Nerlens Noel can do it for half a season, then, I mean, so be it. Holmes is expendable at that point. I might as well get rid of his contract.
Yeah. And, well, you bringing up the contract reality and whatnot and thinking ahead, which is always in play, that really lends credence to the idea that maybe there was some conversation in the background. It's like, hey, Rich,
Rich?
What do you want
Not
to call him?
Sean.
What's up, Sean? That's what they call him at the G1 at the facilities. He's got all these names for things that nobody uses. It's Richaun Holmes, dude. You don't know who Richaun Holmes? You're a Kings fan. You don't know Richaun Holmes?
Sean? You don't know Sean? And I mean Richaun Holmes, just Sean. Come on, Sean.
Dude, come on.
Sean? Dude.
But I imagine this almost just kind of speculating here. This kind of makes the idea that like someone was like, "Hey, so we want to move you, but nobody wants you. So why don't you just pretend like you're playing for play for a starting job by playing as a good backup for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then we'll trade you." Because it'll benefit both sides. Because it would, as we're explaining here, or as you're explaining, with the contract situation and the obvious idea that Holmes probably would want to start, that it becomes mutually beneficial. That if you start playing well, that benefits the both of us. Which was the point I was also making when I initially thought that he was trying out for other teams. But with the actual figures in mind for the contract and the reality next season, it makes a lot of sense. So, as long as it's not Mo Bamba, I think that's a good move. Yeah. It's interesting. It's that account, forget the name, but it's the same account that I cited on the recap of the Memphis game for the Fox rotational talk. I really like that account because he makes a lot of good points. But man, he's Mo Bamba all the way. And I'm like,
Magnus Savage.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I
I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the guy. But what do I know? Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. It seems like if they can trade, they will. But it could be one of those.
But they're not going to send him away for nothing because Holmes is a valuable
Exactly.
player as a fifth man or as a backup five. I mean, off the bench for that center position. It's an important position. If he can do it well, then might as well keep him. Like you'd
Yeah.
rather have that than just trade away his contract just because it's a little expensive.
Hmm.
Because I mean, yeah, Menti did well for a second, but obviously that wasn't going to last too long. So if Holmes has the ability to do that for a longer stretch,